back to the channel, and we've got another Horus Heresy battle report. You may remember last time that the Mechanicum stole an objective that the Iron Warriors were looking to steal. The Archmagus has agreed to meet up with Captain Atheum's forces of the Ultramarines. The mission that we're playing today is the Shock of Betrayal, and today I'm playing Mr. Michael Bottrell, a local Northeast celebrity. Most of the guys in the Northeast will know who he is, so big shout out to Michael. Please check out his Facebook page, Big Geordie Geek. I'll post a link in the description. But this is Michael's forces. We've got 2 units of Marines, 2 weapon batteries, a Sakaran and the radio. Down here we've got a couple of scouts, and in reserves we've got the Praetor. The unit of Terminators have gained deep strike due to a Warlord trait, and of course the most impressive flyer, the Fire Raptor. So as I mentioned, the mission is Shock of Betrayal. I get to deploy 24 inches in. Michael meanwhile gets a 36-inch deployment up to the centre of the board, but I get Scout. And what's happened is, on the way to bringing the artifact to the Ultramarines, the Archmagus has gone a little bit mad due to the powers of the warp, and he's turning his machines on the Ultramarines. Advancing forward to meet the Mechanicum to secure the objective with cover and fire from the Sakaran. Little do they know though, the Mechanicum are on the turn and are going to be taking aim. The Mechanicum do get the scout forward. They have turn 1, and Michael is unable to seize due to no librarians being available. And because the Ultramarines don't know that the Mechanicum have turned on them yet, if they want to shoot at them on turn 1, Michael needs to pass a leadership check. So we've got a unit of 3 Thalax, Photon Thruster, 2 Darkfire Castellax, the Warlord trait. I've got It Will Not Die on a unit of monstrous creatures, so these guys will be having that. We've got the Siege Thanatar, a unit of 2 Castellax here with the Warlord. The Warlord has a Photon Gauntlet, Mastercrafted, as well as Melted Bombs and a Cyber Familiar. We've then got a unit of 3 Thalax behind, Heavy Chain Blades, another unit of 3 Thalax, and just on the flank at that side, a unit of 3 Myrmidons, 2 of them running 2 Plasma Fusils. We've got 2 units of 2 Vorax in reserve, and all the monsters have been upgraded with an enhanced targeting array. So let's scout and do our moves. So here we go, we have done the scout moves and the normal movement forward. So the Mechanicum advancing forward, the Ultramarines still thinking that they're bringing that artifact that the Dominus managed to secure. So the Thalax have pushed through the cover, the Myrmidons coming this way, maybe take the scouts out. If we're in range of the Plasma Fusils though, I think we'll start possibly eating into the Marines, as well as the Castellax on this side with those lovely Mauler bolt cannons. Might fire the Photon Thruster from the Thalax at the Doridio, possibly blind them. That would be incredibly helpful if we did. Thalax up this side, looking potentially to start moving up and blow up that Sakaran maybe next turn. However, the Darkfire Castellax down here are staying where they are. They want to shoot down that Doridio in the distance, watching the firepower go over the top of the Thalax. What a turn of shooting for the Mechanicum. The Darkfire cannons hurtling past the Thalax, hitting the front armour of the Doridio, not doing any damage. However, they did manage to blind him. Meanwhile, firepower from the Castellax here managed to bring down the Marines just at the front. Down here, the lone Thalax with the Photon Thruster was within range, managed to kill a Marine here. They don't know what's going on. They've turned around to see the Mechanicum advancing towards them. But who was it that shot that Marine? Meanwhile, the awesome firepower of the Castellax from this side brought down a few of the Marines here. Unfortunately, the Sergeant failing his Artificer armour save. They are also not pinned. They also took fire from the Thalax with the Photon Thruster again, trying to blind them. but again they passed their initiative test. The Myrmidons, being slow and purposeful, are not able to run, so shot at the scouts. They could only see 3 of them just round the corner and the one on the top, and they have passed the morale check, so maybe they will start popping off some shells at the advancing Mechanicum forces. Meanwhile in the centre, the Thalax just pushing forward as well. So we've just got a couple of jetpack moves to make, and then it's on to Ultramarines, turn 1. The last part of the shooting phase was the Thanatar hurled his Helix plasma mortar into the air, dropping it slap bang in the centre of the bunker and killing 3 of the Marines. So we've also done the jetpack moves. The Thalax down this side looking to advance, potentially start annoying the Sakaran, or maybe this tactical squad over this side. These guys jumping down off the rocks, again pushing forward. Maybe they can draw the fire whilst the Castellax can continue to pummel away. And these guys getting an 8-inch moving forward as well. Again looking to head towards tactical Marines at that side. So let's move on to Ultramarines, turn 1. Right, so the Ultramarines have seen the advance of the Mechanicum and they're pushing forward, looking to meet them and accept the artifact that the Archmagus managed to steal. The Marines on this side again pushing forward, and Doridio moving into a flanking position. The Sakaran ready to lay down some potential covering fire now that they've realised something is amiss. Down here, the force of Ultramarines bolters has been felt. The Sergeant even tracing line of sight for the mortars, and between them managed to bring down a single Thalax. The Thalax, however, have passed their leadership, so they are not running. Every single one of Michael's units managed to pass its leadership and shoot. The Sakaran down this side managed to smash 2 of their Thalax, as well as supporting fire from the Marines flanking the tank. Again, he has passed his leadership. So the bolt of fire from the Ultramarines supporting in taking down 2 of the Thalax there, so not quite scoring Michael first blood just yet. Meanwhile, the ballistic skill 1, Doridio, unloaded everything at the Myrmidons, and despite getting several wounds in, the Myrmidons' armour held up, even managed to pass an invuln from the missiles. The scouts even decided to have a pop at the Thalax as well, but unfortunately failed to hit. They must be shaken from taking fire last turn. So that is it for Ultramarines turn 1. Let's move into Mechanicum turn 2. Right, so Mechanicum turn 2, the Vorax have arrived. 1 unit outflanking on this side, and the 2 Thalax remaining, pushing forward, looking to start potentially doing some damage to these Marines. The Vorax are out of Cortex range, so they are going to be charging around in Michael's backlines, shooting at these guys. Meanwhile, over the other side, some clever placement. I managed to make sure that the 2 Vorax are outflanked on that side, are closest to the artillery pieces, and not the Marines. Meanwhile, up this side, the Thalax in the centre here with the heavy chain blades will be shooting, as well as assaulting the Sakaran, see if we can do some damage. Them heavy chain blades hopefully should be able to come in useful. These guys here, I was contemplating, I don't know what to do. Do I shoot them at the Marines? Bearing in mind the Myrmidons are there to support them as well. Or do I potentially charge these ones in at the Sakaran as well? Bearing in mind these guys will have smash, and he's got a melter bomb. So yeah, that is it for movement. We have cast Rite of Destruction from the Magus on this Castellax down here, so this one is going to be firing twice. It's worth noting last turn as well, this one took a wound due to get hot. These guys will still be shooting across the battlefield over the heads of the Myrmidons, looking to potentially blind the Doridio again. The outflanking Vorax proving what they are made of, supported by these guys here, managed to eat quite a considerable chunk of the Marines at this side away indeed. So they are going to need a morale check. Meanwhile, the Vorax that were outflanking over this side managed to put a single wound in on the artillery down there. The Marines, however, heavy fire indeed coming in. The hot plasma from the Myrmidons coming in and blowing them apart, and a huge helix plasma mortar dropping straight here, wiping out 3 of them. Meanwhile, the Castellax down this side of the table hurtled the Darkfire cannon screeching across the heads of the Myrmidons into the Doridio, causing a single glance and a pen. Michael passing his invuln on the pen. The glance, however, going through, so he has done some damage there. Meanwhile, in the centre, the Thalax here shot into the Sakaran. No damage was done though, despite the strength 7 guns. I haven't done anything with these Castellax or this Thalax as of yet. I don't know whether I want to shoot the Marines. Maybe not, I can only see one. I think I might take the opportunity to potentially charge the Sakaran instead. Smash from the monsters, plus the melter bomb from the Magus. So the end of the shooting phase, and it looks as though the Marines on this side have wavered. The Vorax come charging in from the flank, cutting a number of the Marines down. They have failed their leadership and ran 11 inches off the board, unfortunately. So yeah, never mind. But however, these guys, despite taking heavy casualties and plasma all over the place, melting into the armour of the Marines, these guys refuse to move. In the assault phase, the Castellax and the Thalax all charged in at the Sakaran. The Castellax smashed and managed to explode the Sakaran in a blaze of glory, however, blowing one of his arms off and taking a wound. So that is it for the assault phase. Not too shabby at all. The Mechanicum are starting to run amok in the lines of the Ultramarines. However, the Ultramarines reserves are arriving. Right, so from orbit, Captain Atheon has seen the wreckage that the Archmagus has done, destroying the Sakaran and ploughing through the Marines, and he's dropped down with his Terminators to either convince him to stand down and hand over the artifact or kill him. So deep striking in, he's landed here. The Myrmidons, however, are on the flank, as is the Doridio. Meanwhile, back here, the Fire Raptors come hurtling in alongside, looking probably to slaughter the Castellax bodyguard of the Archmagus. Whilst down here, the Marines have pulled sideways back to start dealing with these Vorax here. They're now closer, so if Michael doesn't kill them, he knows that the Vorax are going to have to go for the Marines and not the artillery, potentially buying them another turn of shooting. What a retaliation from the Ultramarines. The Marines at this side using Legion of the Fury of the Legion even, and getting some hits in on the Vorax, unfortunately doing 1 wound, passing me save. It did, however, allow these to use the Strength 8 AP3, I don't remember the name of the shell, but it allowed Michael to re-roll to wounds of a 1. So getting 5 hits meant that he inflicted 5 wounds with that re-roll. So this Vorax is down to 1 wound. Not pretty at all. Meanwhile, over this side, the Terminators and Captain Atheon, as well as the Doridio, managed to kill 2 of the Myrmidons, inflict a wound on the Lord, and he's running away. Meanwhile, the severe firepower of the Fire Raptor was felt. The autocannon battery on this side, killing the lead Thalax, and putting a single wound on that one. He has, however, passed his morale, so he's going to be flanking around with the Vorax on this side. In the centre though, devastation indeed. This lead Castellax here, taking 2 wounds from the Avenger Bolt Cannon, and Michael decided to use bombardment and drop it slap bang in the centre. He rolled a 6, getting 3, killing one of the Thalax and wounding another one. This one this Castellax here took 3 wounds. The Magus remaining untouched at all. Those guys then failed the morale check and ran away. So that was fantastic. Michael really hammering home that Ultramarine theme gun line and doing lots of damage despite the high toughness of the Cybernetica. So it's Mechanicum turn 3. How is the Magus gonna respond to the threat? Right, so in the movement phase, the Vorax have moved forward and ran. The Thalax as well is pushing forward. The Thalax is just going to be within range. Unfortunately, the Vorax were out of range of the weapon batteries here. However, the lone Vorax on a single wound back there is hopefully going to be doing enough damage to the Marines, and then he's going to be forced to charge him. Over this side, the Thalax have rallied, and the Castellax are pushing forward. Archmagus wants a piece of Athean. We'll have to see how that combat goes. He will be charging in. Meanwhile, the Myrmidon Lord also rallied, and he's going to be snap shooting up at the scouts back there in the hopes of doing some damage. So there's not a lot of Mechanicum left. Michael has done a lot of damage, but we've still got a lot of firepower indeed. Let's see how the shooting phase works out. And with that, the machines of the Omnissiah have responded. The lightning gun here getting a hit but failing to wound the artillery pieces down here. The Vorax on this flank chomping 2 of the Marines, and they did pass their leadership test. The Vorax there will be charging in indeed. However, in the centre of the battlefield, devastation lays. Everything in the centre here fired. The mastercrafted Photon Gauntlet, the Photon Thruster, both the Snapfire and Lightning guns, even the bolt guns and the Mauler bolt cannons from these Castellax managed to bring down 2 of the Terminators, but ultimately the Thanatar has proved his worth, dropping a Helix plasma mortar right in the centre, getting a direct hit on Captain Athean. Michael failing lookout sirs and being doubled out. Devastating blow indeed for the Ultramarines. All the Marines had to take a pinning test, and despite their warlord being cut down, they are not pinned. They are determined to bring down some more forces of the machine god. What a turn of events in the assault phase. The Vorax down here charging in, and I was sweating. The bolt of fire, fortunately for me, not doing any damage as the Vorax charged in, and as I was going through cover, I was swinging last. Michael, despite getting about 6 or 7 hits due to a counter attack and an Ultramarines rule, I think, unfortunately didn't wound the Vorax. The Vorax in turn got 1 hit, and then I rolled a 1. So that was drawn combat down here. But meanwhile, in the centre, wow. Warlord, the Archmagus, charging in at the remaining Terminators. Unfortunately, took a wound to Overwatch, so he's dropped 2 wounds. And the Thalax charged in as well. The Warlord, failing a charge, rolling a 3-inch charge. I needed about a 5. The Thalax, however, despite only getting a single wound, managed to bring down a Terminator with him. And the Power Fists swinging back, getting 3 wounds, and I managed to pass 1 of my 6 of Feel No Pains. So the Thalax is holding this combat strong going into Michael's turn, which is, I suppose, good for me. We'll have to see. So, let's move into Ultramarines. So, Ultramarines turn 2, 3 even. Looks as though Michael is making a gun line stand. The fire out dropping to hover mode, looking probably to pop away at the Castellax here in the centre, and the auto cannon. Probably the Thalax, maybe the Vorax. Down here, the weapon batteries pulling back, probably looking to eat away at these guys. However, the Mechanicum still have a very strong gun line in the back. The Doridio pulling sideways as well, looking to probably help pump some wounds onto this squad here. Let's see if the Castellax are brought down or the Warlord survives. Scout snipers here managed to get a single rend and a wound on the Myrmidon Lord, and he failed his invuln. Meanwhile, firepower from the Doridio killed the other Castellax and the Warlord. I rolled 2 1s for his 2-up armor save against those auto cannons and everything. Meanwhile, the Avenger Ball Cannon from the Fire Raptor took down the last Castellax. So in the middle of the board, the Magus's body lies in a wreckage of mechanical monsters around him. Down here, the Vorax managed to kill a single Marine. The Marine's holding strong, passing the morale check. And the artillery batteries here managing to bring down one of the advancing Vorax. The Thalax cut down to firepower from the Fire Raptor. The Fire Raptor proven invaluable in this game indeed. And finally, combats in here. The lone Thalax failed to do any damage to the two remaining Terminators, and the Terminators smashed into a bloody pulp with those power fists. So they're going to get to consolidate 4 inches. Wow, what a bloody turn of events. It's back and forth with kill points indeed. So let us move on to Mechanicum. Turn 4. The Mechanicum turn 4, we have not done so good. The Vorax here, I kept them outside of 12 inches so he didn't have to charge. We managed to get a single wound through on the artillery there, thanks to the poison ammunition. The lightning gun again doing nothing. As I said, we have done the entire turn. Down there, again, the Vorax killed a single Marine, and Michael failed his morale check, and he was swept due to the Vorax being initiative 5 thanks to Legio Cybernetica. So that was very useful indeed, me getting the swing before the Marines. Down here, in the centre of the board, there's now a massive clearing. The Thalax backing up slightly, looking to shoot at the Terminators here, and no damage was done. The Doridio took fire from the Castellax with Darkfire cannons, got 3 hits, and unfortunately I rolled 2 1s and a 2 to pen. Michael again passing his initiative test. I really need to blind that. It's proven difficult. Meanwhile, the Thanatar finally missed. Tried to get a hit in on these guys, unfortunately scattered way back into the wreckage of the Sakaran and the ruins. So the only thing we've got left to do is get these guys into cover with a jetpack move. Don't roll low. 5 inches should get them in. So 2 dangerous trains to land, and they're fine. So we'll move them and move on to Ultramarines. Turn 4. So super quick turn indeed for the Ultramarines. The Scout Snipers and the Doridio pummeling this Vorax into the ground. Meanwhile, fire from the Fire Raptor inflicted only 2 wounds on this Vorax, and in the end it was the artillery that brought it down. And then Michael decided to take a pot shot. The auto cannons straight through at the Castellax in the background, inflicting 2 wounds, and I failed to save. So that was it for the turn. Very quick turns now. The absolute destruction between the Archmagus and the Ultramarines is brutal stuff indeed. We'll have to see if we can kill a few more units to try and get those all-important victory points. So with the roll of about 11 dice, my turn is over. I've only got 3 models left. So yeah, the Helix Plasma Mortar from the Thanatar dropping here, and only wounding one of the Terminators, Michael, failing his save, and the lone one running away. Unfortunately, he's now out of line of sight. So yeah, not so good. However, the Darkfire Castellax, the Darkfire cannons ran straight through the front armour of the Doridio. He exploded, but the Scouts, hugging the ruins there, managed not to get wounded by the flying shrapnel. So that is it for the Mechanicum turn. Let's move into Ultramarines turn 5. So Ultramarines turn 5 has been incredibly quick. The weapon battery's not able to say anything, so Michael's moved them sideways and ran. The Terminator managed to rally and regroup. The Fire Raptor moving forwards with its last missile and the Avenger Ball Cannon put 2 wounds on that Castellax there. And in my last turn, I totally forgot about my Thalax there. So, as it stands, it is 6 points to me, 5 to Michael, because I managed to kill an independent character, which scores me 1 point, and slay the Warlord. There was a character down here in the troop unit, which gets me another 1. That's 3. The tactical squad gets me 4. Tactical squad over here gets me 5, and that was first blood as well. Meanwhile, Michael has killed 2 units of Thalax, the Myrmidons, the Magus, and of course Slay the Warlord. So as it stands, it is 6 points to 5 to the Mechanicum. Michael, do you want to roll a dice and see if the game continues? On a 3 up it does. On a 4. Going on to turn 6. Right, so Mechanicum turn 6. The Thanatar could just about see Michael's artillery down here, and he got a direct hit with his Helix Plasma Mortar and managed to wound all 4. Both artillery pieces were on 1 wound apiece, and as you can see, there is a crater where they used to be. The Terminator here getting away unscathed due to not being able to be seen. The Darkfire Castellax shooting up at the Fire Raptor. Michael elected not to jink, and I didn't get any hits, but the Thalax, that I remembered about this time, jumped around the corner, popped the lightning guns into the scouts, killed 1, and he's ran away. So that gets me an extra victory point for destroying the unit down here, which currently puts it at 7 to Michael's 5. Can he retaliate and do some damage to the Castellax? Let's see. Right, so Michael's turn basically until the Fire Raptor drop into hover mode and destroying the Thalax there. I should have put him in the ruins for that cover save. Not thinking at all. I thought he would be baited by the Castellax, but he only scores the points for killing the Thalax. So, the autocannon also shot into the Castellax, but failed to wound. So as it stands now, the points is 7 to 6 to the Mechanicum. Michael, does the game continue again on to turn 7 or not? Let's see. It does. Brutal stuff. And it does mean the Thanatar is going to have to charge the Fire Raptor because it is within 12 inches. So this game continues to be back and forth. The Thanatar has moved down, lumbering forward towards the Fire Raptor. The Fire Raptor's hull on the far side still being within 12 inches. Being outside of the minimum 12-inch range of the Helix Plasma Mortar. We got a hit, and on 2 dice, we rolled a 1 and a 2. So no damage was done to the Fire Raptor from the Helix Plasma Mortar. It does mean, however, that the Thanatar will be charging. But best of all, the Castellax just about see the Terminator in the distance, and he's being cut down to Darkfire cannons. He passed 2 of 3 in-run saves, and 1 causing him to be cut down. So that is going to put me to 8 points to Michael's 6 as it stands at the minute, but the Thanatar is going to be charging the Fire Raptor. Expect the Thanatar come hurtling in, smashing his fists against the Fire Raptor. Unfortunately, he must be blinded. The Cortex must be going a little bit haywire. He only got 1 hit on the Hulking Flyer and managed to get a pen, causing it to be shaken. So yeah, let's move into Ultramarines, turn 7. Right, so Mechanicum turn 7. The lone scout took a pop shot at the Thanatar and the Avenger Ball Cannon, and the auto cannons failing to do any damage to the Castellax and the Thanatar. So there's 3 monstrous creatures rampaging around at the rally point where the Magus was supposed to meet the Ultramarines with the artifact. So it is a victory for the Mechanicum. It's 8 points to 6. Neither side getting line breaker at all. Michael, an absolute beauty, bloody, brutal game. Thank you very, very much indeed. If you like Horus Heresy and that's your thing, please check out Durham Raid. There's lots of Heresy armies down here. I'll post a link to them in the description. A big thank you to Michael for today's game. Please check out his Facebook page. I'll also post a link to that in the description as well. But yeah, if you live in the Durham area, please check Durham Raiders out. And a massive thank you to them for hosting me. And until next time.